Hey, Zack here from Frontenac Outfitters Canoe and Kayak Center. Today, we're gonna answer a question that gets asked here a lot, and that is, how stable is my kayak? You know, we can look at this a few ways. You know, we have really stable kayaks, and then you have kayaks that, you know, I would consider less stable or more tippy, and, you know, really it comes down to a few factors in boat design and also the paddler themselves. When we're looking at really stable kayaks, that's going to be kind of your recreation category, you know, your Delta 12 ARs, your Pungos, you know, these fishing kayaks that are on the market. They're designed with a very high primary stability, and we don't really consider secondary stability much on those kayaks. When we start looking at more, you know, I don't want to say advanced designs, that's not really the right term, but more, I'd say, intermediate to advanced paddling designs, secondary stability is certainly going to come into play when we're looking at light touring kayaks or full touring kayaks like this guy here, whitewater kayaks, and they're certainly all going to have a factor in how much primary stability we're going to feel and how much secondary stability we're going to feel. When we're looking at long sea kayaks, a lot of them can, you know, certainly feel less stable than a recreation kayak. And the factors that we need to look at in what makes a kayak more stable or less stable is all to do with the shape of the hull and also the skill of the paddler. If you're a new kayaker, a boat with a very narrow beam, and that's the width of the boat, is going to feel probably less stable. There's certain designs out there that balance the stability really well, but if you haven't been in a sea kayak, it's probably going to feel a little tippy your first few times out. Things to look for is the hull design of the boat, okay? This one here has more of a shallow arch, has a fairly defined chine on it, and that chine is the profile on the side. The hull design is the curvature of the bottom of the boat. It can be flat, it can have more of a curve, or it can have what's called a shallow V, and it can have kind of, you know, a mix of these different cross sections throughout the hull of the boat to give it different characteristics, whether you want a boat that tracks really well on flat water, if you want a boat that's going to be able to surf, or if you want kind of a combination of those two. There's going to be a bunch of different reasons and factors that go into choosing the hull design that you're looking for your paddling style. Unfortunately, there isn't really a boat that balances them all. But on this video, we want to talk about stability and how do we balance stability and how do we find a boat that's going to be stable for you. So when we're shopping around for a kayak and we want something that's stable, best to talk to a few people. Talk to your friends, talk to experts, talk to the shop staff, ask questions on Facebook. You're going to get a myriad of different answers, and some of them are going to be good and some of them probably not so good. The best way to do it is to come out and test paddle them for yourself. We're happy to kind of give you our opinion on what we feel are you know, user-friendly, stable boats, and ones that maybe aren't so much. This is my boat here. This is the Zeagle Empower, and I would consider this not a super stable boat. It feels great when I'm paddling it, as long as I'm focused. I have a hard time taking pictures from this boat because as soon as I kind of take my eyes off the prize, things can feel a little weird and become unstable. So you really want to, you know, balance what you want out of the kayak. Boats like the Deltas, for instance, I think they blend primary and secondary stability incredibly well. They're using a moderate shallow V hull with fairly soft chine, so it handles rough water well, and it also tracks really well with that shallow V, giving a good margin of both primary stability and secondary stability. So what's the difference between primary stability and secondary stability? This is a question, another question that kind of blends in with this that we get asked all the time. Primary stability, when we're sitting in the kayak and just sitting flat, how loose does it feel? How tippy does it feel? Secondary stability is when we engage the edge of a kayak. And this is why we don't really consider secondary stability on, you know, recreation kayaks and fishing kayaks, because you don't really have that control that you would in a narrower boat like a sea kayak or a lot of light touring boats or a whitewater kayak. So as you become one with your kayak, these are things that you're going to look for. How well can you control it? And how well can you get onto that secondary edge to control the boat in surf conditions or for turning in advanced maneuvers. And it is an important feature. You want to be able to get tight in the boat, you want to be able to control it, and you want to feel comfortable on that edge. You will get more comfortable as you gain more experience, but as you're starting out, you may feel a little bit weird. Honestly, it'll come in time and you will start to learn what the difference between primary and secondary stability really is. Hope this was helpful. Please check us out. If you want to come test paddle some boats, Frontenac Outfitters Canoe and Kayak Center, give us a call. Thank you.